Stop. Yes, Google.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Well, it's about time you did Google, really, isn't it? Stop. There we are. Woo. Hey, Google, stop. You know we're going
Woo!
right. Here we are. Chaos.
Hello. Hi
No,
Jenny, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Just arguing with my artificial intelligence. You
Oh
know how
wow.
it is. Yeah.
I was going to say you and I look very powerful and red today. Oh
Oh,
yes.
weird. Yes, yes. Red and ready to go.
Red, red, red is just it's the power day, isn't it? It's the power energy. The red
Yes.
just gives you that power energy. Just
Oh,
a
yeah.
little trick for those who are just coming in and join us, right? If you're going for an interview, if you're pitching for a new job, if you're going and you really want to make an impression, you wearing red. If you don't like red to wear, just wear red knickers and red bra. You will be fine. It does the same effect whether you're wearing it out or whether you're wearing it in. This is a powerful color.
I can't believe you started this talking about underwear. You know.
Well, we were going to
Very
be
good.
talking about power, aren't we?
Ooh,
The
ooh.
power that we have. And you and
Until
I have met
well,
about 3 years ago now, isn't it?
it's
It's been 3 years
3 years.
ago. Yeah, I was looking through the photos and everything, and it just seems like I can't believe it was 3 years. It's just been amazing how quick the last 3 years have been. And all the
Yeah.
things we've been doing in between that and then.
Oh, yes, we're global now, we're all over the world. It's wonderful.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Jenny, let me just. I mean, I know it's your channel, so people should know you. You should be introducing me right the other way around, but you and I
Really.
met because you actually came to Jersey, my little island. I live on the little island of Jersey, which is between France and England. And at the time, you were living in on another island, were you? You were living in Rhodes, and suddenly
Yeah.
thought, oh, we like that little island. Why don't we just go and check it out? um, and so you are an NLP and a hypnotherapist.
Mm, mm.
You are not just a practitioner, but you are a trainer. You are you do everything with it, don't you? You've been an expert for what, over 30 years now.
35, yes. Yeah.
35, yeah.
Yeah.
There.
Started in the corporate world and now let's be clear because I do need other people to blow a trumpet for me sometimes when I realise looking back where I was and where I've got to, I am now top of the tree with the Hypnotherapy Standards Council. I call myself Hypnowoman because that's what my clients and my delegates have teased me about in the past. They call me the Hypnowoman. So, okay, I'm Hypnowoman. Good hypno and counting and the training school on the General Standards Council, of which I'm senior, and which I run one of only 10 schools worldwide are accredited valuable. And so yes, I'm pretty good out there,
You
Claire. I'm
you
pretty good.
you're pretty good at what you do. You know your stuff. So
I love
really,
it. I live it every day. I love it. I just really do live this. As you know, everything to me is NLP. Everything to me is hypnosis. You know, everything is a projection of mind and how we feel. It's all related to me. I just love it. I just love what.
well, I have to say, I'd heard other people in who were doing what I'm doing, who talked about NLP. So I'd seen the words, I'd looked at it a little. I may have even bought a book or something, but maybe not even at that time. I just heard a few people talking about it, and I got intrigued because I was getting more and more training, and I really, really wanted to engage with people, and I really wanted to connect in a better way. And that's kind of why I kind of came across. And I think I must have seen something on Facebook and liked it or something, or watched it. And then, I got an email saying, oh, yeah, you watched this. We're coming to Jersey. Why don't you come to our course? And I was looking at it and it was like a full week. I really don't know. And then it was a full week of an LP and another week of hypnotherapy. So that was 2 full weeks out of work. It's quite a lot, quite intense. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure about it. I'm really not sure. And then when things happen for a reason, and it always does, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
And then
Oh, yes.
just a week before you arrived, you sent another email saying, we've just had one cancellation. Is that yours? And it was mine. So
Yeah.
that was it. That was that email is saying, right, well, it was meant to be. I was meant to be on that course, so let's book it. So, and again, at the time, I wasn't sure about hypnotherapy. I thought, right, I'll do the NLP, but I'm not sure. 2 weeks out of the business, it'll be quite a lot. And actually, knowing what I know now, I know I should have done it then, and that's, but so we'll have to bring you back to Jersey, or perhaps, for the next few weeks, there may be another way that we'll be able to do those things as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, you might have missed out initially on the hypnosis part of the course, but I've been talking to you about it for 3 years. I think you've kind of learned as much as there is to know now.
Absolutely. No, totally. And I have to say, Jenny, this was a transformational week. It really was. On a personal side, on a business side, and yeah, I mean, it was really, and actually we're going to be talking about anchor today. And that week was a real anchor for me. I'll get back to it. I'll review the notes that we talked about. And this really a start of something that I could use not just for work, but it was very personal. And I've learned a lot of things about myself, and I think that's what the new NLP, so neuro-linguistic programming, is so powerful, isn't it?
Well, as we've said, as we've presented together in various arenas, we recognize that your business is you. Our philosophy is it's yourself, your world, and then your business. And all the best, most wonderfully successful entrepreneurs and even people that live a good life, if you like, and enjoy what they do, they know that their business is an emanation of them. If the person at the top of the business, the person that represents the business or the workplace, is happy and is able to lift and attend to, and this is your arena, Claire, to attend to the needs of not only of their customers but of their employees, if they're able to raise the vibration of that business by putting themselves into it, by attending to their own needs first and then their world and then their business, everybody benefits, and we really ought to be enjoying our work more, and a lot of that comes from the people that work in the workplace and the anchors that are there.
So we've just mentioned anchors a couple of times now. What does anchor means?
Well, in England, a cup of tea is an anchor. Anything happens, good or bad, we'll say, have a cup of tea. It's a nice distraction technique. I should have my little finger out as well. Have a cup of tea. A cup of tea either perks us up or calms us down. And whether it does or not, and of course there are chemicals within tea that do various different things, and in the Orient, everything was about tea. I'll tell you something useful, Claire. How about this? Something very interesting. I think it's interesting.
That's what we're all about. Come on.
Well, you see, in the olden days, we couldn't drink water because water was contaminated.
Right.
And we didn't have chemicals and purification plants in order to drink. So in England in the Middle Ages, we brewed beer, and we gave beer even to children. The monks brewed the beer. So we learnt to make water by brewing it. And in the Orient, they brewed it into tea. So tea actually comes from, these tea-making ceremonies they have in Japan still. They honour tea. Mm-hmm. Tea comes really from the Orient, and beer you can thank the
Fabulous, fabulous. So that I didn't know that. You see, we learn every day. Every day there's a story that we can.
Very interesting. But I use tea. I really do like tea. I like coffee as well. Though tea is quite an anchor for me. I have to have a cup of tea. It's nice to have tea. And if we can anchor a more conducive state, because we'll talk about the power of changing one's state, because your state changes anyway. It's nice to have a little control over it. And in Britain, one of the things we do to have control over our state is to utilise things like tea, like anything that you can do to make yourself feel better. It's nice to know what your anchors already are to make yourself feel better. Like you said about the red, perk ourselves up with the vibration of red, even if it's saucy red underwear, you naughty girl, Claire. It makes you feel energized, doesn't it? It brings you alive, these anchors.
And so you've got great anchors, and then you've got, so I've never, ever had a fine for speeding in my life. And I was on the little road in Jersey. It's a 30 miles an hour road. And I was going 34 miles on that road, and I got stopped by a police officer who took me to court for a 34 miles an hour making a speed ticket. So every time I go through that road, I will reduce my speed to 30 miles an hour. That's an anchor, isn't it?
Oh, yes. And you can't argue whether it's an anchor to keep yourself or other people safe, or if it is a negative anchor that induces a state of tension that need not be there.
Yes,
we can be careful, we can be tense and stressful when we really, people might argue, who's listening? People might argue with this, that the difference of 4 miles an hour could make a huge difference to one's safety. I don't know. I'm sure there's some experts out there that do know. Though sometimes it's viewed here as a bit of a money-making machine that I was... it's confession time. I was pulled up for speeding, and I was doing 35 miles an hour in a 30 mile an hour limit. And I think for me, Claire, the irritation with that is that there are people that really do break the speed limit big time, and I didn't really want to be classed as the same as them. I had a speeding ticket. I had the opportunity to go on a speed awareness course, to be aware that I was 5 miles an hour as opposed to 30, and I thought, well, I don't really want to spend the time, this is the different anchors of time and money, to spend my time being told that I am not aware of the speed that I'm going at, because appropriate for the environment I was in. Obviously not. To our boys in blue, I do apologise, and I am suitably trite, so I'm sorry about that. But yes, I understand exactly what you mean, Claire. It's an anchor now. Whenever I go to that stretch of road, I feel wrong. You're a criminal.
Yes, so we create, do we create anchors, or do our mind create anchors? Well, I guess our subconscious mind create anchors, doesn't it?
This is where I've got my flashcards.
Ooh, watch you. You've done that before.
I've done it for a very long time. So a lot of our anchors come from environment. Of course they do. And whilst that is the first of our logical levels, as we call them, or stepping stones, and we might like to think that we are far above our environment, that our state and how we feel has little to do with our surroundings. Obviously it does. Anchors are kind of presented to us in the environment in which we're in, everything that we eat and drink, and what affects our well-being, you could say, is an anchor. And then we get to know that certain anchors, for some people it's chocolate, for others it's alcohol. There's certain anchors that might enliven us and make us feel good and make us want to look forward to having them again. And for others, an anchor might be a cigarette that they are despising themselves for needing. They use that to change their state. So the cigarette is a kind of conflict of consciousness within a person, because there's very few people I know that actually admit that they enjoy smoking a cigarette. They see it something that they have to do to create a state within themselves. So anchors are linked to our state, either negative or positive, to help us feel better or bring us down. We don't want to be brought down, do we, Claire? No.
No, we want to stay in that positive mindset, but it's not easy, isn't it? Especially with, the last kind of 4 months are kind of challenged everybody, haven't they, in many, many ways. And even to the point, I guess, even going to work is an anchor, because, you get into the car, you get into your habit, you drive to work, you're doing this. So every day you're kind of doing the same thing. And suddenly they had to break that anchor because they were confined. They couldn't go into the car and then do the drive and then come back. They had, things had to be changed with that, what people really wanted to do it. They just had to do it.
Well, this is where it's really weird, the life of Hypnowoman, because I've got a strange feeling that you've all just come into rapport with me, because I was already working from home.
I was.
I didn't think it was odd at all that you suddenly work from home and don't travel. The travelling I did on aeroplanes and present like yourself, presenting in different parts of the world, and now we do it virtually. We do it here, do it in this, through all these pixels, and reach out to people. And I can see there's several people watching, and they haven't been brave enough yet to send us a comment, but I would like to know, what do you already recognise as being an anchor for you? What anchors you to a conducive, positive, we say resourceful state, and what brings you down? What you only have to think about and suddenly you feel disempowered. It might be a good idea, because if you do share one of your anchors with us, we can perhaps help change that for you. We can help raise a negative anchor, something that reminds you or reminds your physiology, because all this is practical, Claire, isn't it? Your physiology reacts to an unresourceful anchor, and for reasons why you might not understand consciously, suddenly you're in a bad mood. Yeah. Suddenly you've got no energy, and you might not even know what that anchor is. Oh, hello, Vicky. We've got brave Vicky here. Hello, Vicky.
All the way from Manila, Vicky. It's lovely to have you here.
Come on then, Vicky. Have you got a good anchor or a bad anchor you want to share with us? Be brave. Let us know. Come on.
So Vicky, actually, Jenny, Vicky was going to host us. Do you remember you when you were supposed to be coming last year to do that workshop, and we never did? And so Vicky used to work in Jersey, and she's moved back to the Philippines. So it's lovely to have you here.
Yes, I wonder if there's something that perks you up, Vicky. There's something that puts you into a good state, looking forward to something. Oh, yes, lovely to see you. But apparently we're the good anchor. We're the good anchor. It's lovely. It's lovely for Vicky to see us. That's wonderful. I like being a positive anchor.
You know, there's something, Jenny, and I'd like perhaps we could actually do that now. I think it would be quite cool to actually do an anchor or disanchoring or an anchoring, re-anchoring. I'm not sure how to say it.
Collapsing
Right.
anchors.
You know,
If
you
it's a negative one, we'll collapse it into a good one. How about that?
right. So, you know, you were talking about your cup of tea.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
I have something when it comes to 3 o'clock. I will sneak
Mhm.
into the kitchen. I will open the cupboard, and not only I'll make a cup of tea, but I will also start nibbling at the biscuits. And then it's
Oh,
one, and then it's two, and then it's three, and then sometimes I finish the packet just in case the children sees that the packet has been open. So I just wrap it and put it in the bin quickly and put it underneath of the bit of the bit so no one see that I had a full packet of biscuits. And this is becoming very, very, very regular.
can I ask what type of biscuit?
Well, at this moment in time, they're Oreos.
Well, I've got this thing. People initially, when they knew what I could do, when they've been to YouTube, and I had a lady last week actually say that they weren't going to talk to me in case I stopped them eating chocolate, and they loved chocolate, and so I offered to phone them up because they're asking me some questions, and oh no, because you might stop me eating chocolate. People come up to me with their cigarettes and they say, "You're not going to take these away from me." I've got this thing that actually I'm here to make life better for you, not worse. If you think these biscuits have the power to change your state and make you enjoy life more, eat them for goodness sake.
Okay.
If not eating them would make you feel deprived, depressed, worried about life, etc., then that's one thing. But if, as is more and more the case, somebody eats those biscuits and then looks back on the situation and wishes they hadn't, looks back on the
Yes.
situation and feels powerless, feels controlled by their environment, then that's a different thing altogether. So my question to you, to get a little bit more serious now, is there an element of your environment that you've just described, Claire, that has control over you that you call biscuits?
Well, I think I'm greedy. So I don't think I've got a problem. I think I'm greedy. But then I feel really sick because I've ate too many. I feel like, this is not going to help my weight. This is just really bad. So once I've eaten it, I feel really guilty afterwards and I don't want to do it, but I keep doing it.
So this is your unconscious mind at work. Your unconscious mind is constantly looking out. It's like you've got a big antenna on top of your head going, what could make me feel better? What could make me feel better? Particularly when we're kind of a little bit stressed. The prime directive of your unconscious mind, your higher mind, if you like, is one, to keep you safe, and two, to bring you pleasure. And people look for pleasure in all sorts of places. And if it does bring you pleasure, brilliant, wonderful, keep doing it. And if it brings you pain, if you consciously think, oh, I shouldn't have done that and now I feel sick, blah, 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 excuse me. If it's bringing you pain, then it's time to address that, because your unconscious has done it. Your unconscious has reached for the biscuits. In other words, you've done it without thinking, really. You haven't given it some conscious thought. You've just gone to the cupboard, I take it, and opened the cupboard, and the biscuits are in your mouth before you know it. Just like the cigarette is lit and the person hasn't really given much conscious thought to having the cigarette. So therefore, if your unconscious has done it, it's like pulling your hand away from something and then thinking consciously, why did you do that? you act unconsciously, and then we try and decipher why we did certain things. So my question to you now is, for what reason, because we never say why, do we, Claire? We don't say why. For what reason do you think, consciously now that you're giving it attention, because I often think we don't think enough. So now that you've got that conscious attention towards this thing in your environment, this cupboard with all these biscuits, and now that you're thinking consciously, for what reason do you think you would have gone to the cupboard at exactly 3:00 and ate all those Oreos? What do you think is the reason behind that? Why would your unconscious do that to you?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a break and a bit of sugar intake. It just perks me out up. Maybe and I just eat it and then I can go back to work. So I don't know. It feels a little bit like yeah. Maybe it's just that sugar rush that you get from the Oreos, but then you get
Well, that's exactly it. You're now supposing, you're playing with the concept of logic. So before we even talk about logical levels, as we will do during this week, we're really talking about anchors at this moment in time, that the idea, the concept of having a biscuit, well, it must be, biscuits are sugary, so that gives me energy, so maybe I wanted the energy, or I would have had a break, so maybe it's a way of me having a break from the computer or whatever I'm focused upon. Yes, maybe it's a break and it's sugar, so it's energy, and so we think about logically why we think, for what reasons we think we do what we do. And do you think that's true? That's the next question. In other words, were you actually changed positively by having the biscuits?
Well, then after I felt really guilty. So in a way, I don't want to be eating the biscuits because I feel bad afterwards. So I'd rather not. I'd rather not eat it.
Well, we're now dealing with timelines, which is another NLP concept. At that moment in time, I'm going to go take you back to the moment in time. Well, actually, it's 27 minutes past 3 in Jennie land, in Hypnowoman land. So at 3:00, did you have biscuits?
Well, I had a cup of tea, but I missed on the biscuit because we were going live.
Oh. You see, that's very interesting, because your unconscious doesn't keep track of time. And whilst this kind of is an unconscious act, it needed the signal from your conscious mind to know what time it was, as to whether or not it was biscuit time, Oreo time. So if you don't know what the time is, or if you are distracted,
Yes.
then you're not going to have the biscuit.
No.
And so what's happened here, and I'm very glad that you brought this up, Claire, it's all temporal, as we say, it's all time related. At the time you wanted the biscuit, you had desire for the biscuit for reasons which you can now explain to yourself, because you're putting logic in the future, if you like. You're looking back as to why you did something. It's not happening now. It didn't happen at 3:00 today. So I know it sounds a very simple idea, but everything in life can be hung on the framework of NLP, if you like, which will help us with the larger concepts. So it may just seem to be a biscuit and an anchor, and we pass it off. Yes, biscuits make us feel good, don't they? Until they make us fat, or make our system sluggish, or make us feel sick.
Or actually wake you up, because Jennie said she ate big biscuits in the middle of the night. So that's even worse. Vicky said she eats biscuits in the middle of the night, a nightly habit.
Oh, I told you, he wakes up. It's not a sleepwalking thing then.
Are you sleepwalking, Vicky, or are you in purpose going to the biscuit cupboard? We'll keep an eye on you.
Yeah, this is very interesting, about actually waking in the middle of the night. because when people wake, and I'll come back to your biscuits in a moment, Claire, you're not off the hook yet.
That's fine.
Waking in the middle of the night or waking at any time when one thinks one ought to be asleep, usually the first thing that happens is we look at the clock.
Yeah.
Because it's dark, we've been asleep, now we're awake, what on earth's going on? Mm. So we look at the clock to see, should I still be asleep? And then we address, do I need the toilet? If I go to the toilet, that's really going to wake me up. Do you think I ought to go to the toilet? Yeah, I really need the toilet now. So we kind of then go to the toilet, usually, not always, but usually. And then we're addressing our body, you see, by going to the toilet or by whatever we do. Maybe we're a bit thirsty, nom, 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 as we are when we're asleep. And with that nom, nom, nom comes, ooh, biscuit, maybe.
Vicky.
What we've got to realise, folks, is that the biscuits, in one sense or another, are fulfilling something within us. Okay. And we go kind of beyond the fulfillment into excess. It's a little bit like we've got an unconscious program. If this has made us feel better, which I don't know anybody on the planet who having one biscuit wouldn't feel better. There's some lovely biscuits out there. It makes us feel better, but another one make us feel even better than that one. And so what we're really dealing with here is excess. We think it's just a biscuit, but if our conscious mind says, and the most damaging thing we can say to ourselves is, I shouldn't have had the biscuit, and I shouldn't have another one. As soon as you say that to yourself, all you can think about is biscuits. Like the person having a cigarette, I shouldn't have had that cigarette, and I should have another one. Cigarette, biscuits. Got to admit that we're reaching out, folks, to things in our environment to make us feel better. And in that red hot moment of eating the biscuit, you're not thinking about how it might make you feel sick. You're not thinking about any future excess energy we might be carrying that we put to an identity level and call it fat. We call our stored energy that the body's putting to one side in case we need that energy later. We call that fat, don't we? And the worst thing then we can do is call ourselves fat. You see? When we put something at an identity level, it really does upset us then that I am fat. No, nobody is fat. Nobody on the planet is fat. Do you know that? Your hair, your blood, your bone, your skin, you're all sorts of stuff. And the fat that you carry is just excess energy stored in the body. Yeah? But what you're, I think, saying, Claire, is that I shouldn't have eaten those biscuits. I don't want to eat them tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And Vicky's saying, I don't want to eat them in the middle of the night because, you see, we need to finish this sentence. What's wrong with eating a few biscuits, Claire and Vicky?
Well, for me, I don't know about you, Vicky, but for me, I know that I just eat too many of them. So if I can then I guess if I can stop myself, then I just have one, but I've got no control power.
Well, I'd say that you do because you're not eating biscuits now. You're not constantly eating, are you? So at some point you stop. So there is that control, and this is the gift I want to give people, that there's a threshold within every human being where you cannot miscreate, where you know, oh, I wished I hadn't done that, so I don't want to do that again. And I need to have a word with myself. And rather than saying, I never want another biscuit to pass these lips ever again, which is what we call a diet, which, folks, doesn't work, what we want to do really is make our experience of a biscuit so pleasurable, so satisfying, really engaging with all of the papillae, the little taste buds, and of the tongue, the tip of the tongue, the back of the tongue, the roof of the mouth, the back of the throat, feeling it going down, thinking, snuggling down into that, really enjoying that biscuit, eating it slower, savouring life, people. Eating is one of the joys of being alive. I promise you that the more you consciously enjoy biscuit and accept that you want a biscuit, for goodness sake, the less biscuits you will eat, because you will be enjoying, you'll be getting out of that biscuit what you need. Quite often we're eating while we're doing something else, and we're not really understanding how we're being satisfied and pleasured by that experience. And so therefore it hardly hits the sides, does it? It just kind of goes in and tries to fill a gap.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
That's what Artie was saying. Generally, your kids are up and they're probably eating the biscuits with you, so you're kind of keeping them company. And actually, Artie, you're very good. Artie's in Mumbai, actually, so it's lovely to be here, Artie, and to be joining us this afternoon. I stopped eating biscuits. I am now on keto cheese crackers. Excellent.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Artie, because what Artie's done in NLP terms is taken the submodalities of something. So let's say he's recognised the reasoning behind a certain activity. That there's a lot of communion. I mean, it's a sense of community, eating together. Some of my eating disorder clients, I've always said to you, Claire, haven't I? Don't be fooled by the slim people. They're the ones eating the chocolate bars in the toilet cubicle at work, because they don't want anybody else to know they're eating them. And at the extreme, that they're making themselves sick afterwards because they feel so guilty and bad about eating something. There's a serious side to all this. But the fact is, a chocolate bar or a packet of biscuits, etc., is an anchor to a good time. And so by knowing that, as artists perhaps discovered, it's the eating, it's the community with the people that we're in. We want to do what they're doing. And this is how a lot of smokers start, by the way. The kids at the back of the bike sheds, in the old days, somebody's doing something and they seem to be enjoying it, and I want to join in. I don't want to be left out, and I don't want them to feel bad that they're doing it without me. So it's a kind of community thing. So let's keep that sense of community. They're having biscuits. What can I have? What can give me some satisfaction here? What can my hands be doing? What can I be doing at the same time that's kind of not as damaging in terms of sugar intake, or not as impactful on one's figure? And maybe it's still crunchy, it's still textured, it's still flavoursome, and yet it's not as bad, if you like. We're replacing one thing with another. We're taking the submodalities of one thing and utilising those for another. That makes sense. I might be getting a bit highbrow. You'll have to pull me back, Claire, if I am.
Maybe we'll stop on modality. But could we do an exercise then, Jenny?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we won't do it on the biscuits, because maybe there's not an anchor there. Maybe I'm just a greedy get. Can we do an anchoring of something? And I'm thinking, with everything that's been happening at this moment in time, and we're all quite stressed and worried about things, can we create ourselves an anchor so we can release a little bit of stress and actually feel better in ourselves? Is that an anchor we could be doing?
Oh yes, I'm already there. Can you tell? Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
So we all do it together. I mean, we've got Artie, we've got Gary, we've got Vicky here with us. How about we do a bit of an anchoring session then?
Oh, I need more tea for this, Claire. I'm just gonna look. I've got more tea at the ready. Here we go. Always look after yourself. That's what I say. Always look after yourself, then you can look after others. So
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Put the mask in front of you, definitely.
So here we go, folks. It takes a little bit of playing along. I know you can just watch this either now or on the replay and not play along, though your unconscious will take what's useful, whether you like it or not. That's why you are so influenced by all those adverts, even if it's a billboard that you walk past. You are constantly being given information from the environment in which you find yourself. So we're talking about environment and we're talking about environmental factors. So what is it, I wonder, as you do now, as you listen to the sound of my voice and I am connecting with your higher mind, if you like, what is it, I wonder, that makes you feel more comfort, more ease? Even now, thinking about snuggling down into a lovely, comfortable warmth, into the privacy of your own bed, your own space. I want you to just really feel now, even just sitting there or doing the washing up, whatever it is you happen to be doing right now, listening to the sound of my voice, knowing that you can, in your mind, notice what makes you feel more relaxed than you do right now. And as you do so, that might be different for each one of you. So think about the fabric of what you're wearing against your skin. Notice the feeling, the heaviness or lightness of the cloth, whether it's smooth or a little bit prickly, the weight, Claire, of those pearls around your neck, the feeling of the hair against your neck too, the support of the chair beneath you, the support that is there. Give in a little bit to gravity. Allow it to take the weight. As you are more relaxed than you were a moment ago, realize now that you have the ability to change your state. In whatever situation you find yourself in, Artie, Vicky, Claire, anybody who is listening now or listens in my future, isn't that wonderful? You know that you are always zipping through time. Very rarely are you in the present moment. You're thinking about something you're about to do or will be doing later, or reflecting on something that's already gone past. And thank goodness we have a past, because everything you've ever experienced right here, right now will come to serve you. You know how to feel more relaxed, more comfortable, more at ease. You know there are things that you can reach for in your environment that could be more satisfying, bring you more pleasure, more comfort, more protection than it does right now. I want you to, in your mind's eye, recognize you live in a world full of stuff and you are surrounded by wonderful people. And you have a voice, you have taste buds, you have hearing, you can listen to music, you can move your body in a way that feels good, or you can just let go completely into the support of a bed or chair, or even lying flat on the ground, imagining that your carpet beneath you is a carpet of cool green grass that grows even where we don't even want it, through the tarmac, people, on a beach, at the edge of a shoreline. Who knows what the environment can present you with right now? But things are continually moving, changing and evolving. Your body right now is repairing itself, digesting its food. It's knowing to give you signals when it's thirsty, or when, yes, it might be a little bit stressed. And there is no harm in reaching out for that which you want, as long as that which you want is going to help you remember how to bring yourself more comfort. And I'm not talking about stuff that people reach out for that's going to deaden their nerve endings and stop them feeling. You see, a lot of what people reach out for is to not feel as much as they do right now. And I say, how about feeling more comfort instead? How about feeling more ease, more pleasure, more in tune, aligned with your physical self? And just at that moment in time when you know I'm saying these words and some of you are listening and some of you don't, and that's fine when you're listening and it's fine when you don't, as long as you allow yourself to relax. You don't yet know just how useful this is going to be. Oh, it's easy to relax in the privacy of your own bed late at night, unless you're eating biscuits. Though you can bring yourself now to a point of focus within just 5 minutes, a kind of mini meditation, whether you are in the presence of other people or not. You can just close your eyes for a moment and relax. Taking a deep breath in, allowing that breath now, yes, something that you all do, allow the breath to be your anchor. Knowing that you breathe from moment to moment, there isn't a moment during the day or night when you don't breathe. So allow that breath now to relax you. I want you to recognize that you know exactly the state of every human being you come into contact with today by how they're breathing, whether they are excited and happy and breathing a lot quicker and more shallowly because they're so excited, or because they're anxious and it's the same physical state, or whether they're a little bit bored and just a bit fed up or relaxed. You're going to be more aware now of how they breathe and the impact it has on you and how you breathe. Choose now to breathe more deeply. Choose now to allow that next breath, far quicker than I can ever say, allow that breath to remind you to take in from life that which you want and to release that is no longer useful. Every single breath in and every gentle breath out is there for you, always. When you recognize now, this is what you can rely upon to change your state, so that if you do get a little bit anxious at some point in time, you can do something with your hands. You could hold your own hand, interlace the fingers, because you are always there for you, just like your breath, just like every breath you take. You can allow the breath to relax you deeply and just float along on that gentle rise and fall of your own body. Even when you are showing somebody your interested face, so you're not really engaged anymore with what they're saying. Even when you're kind of pretending to watch the telly with somebody, though you're not really interested anymore. Even if you're a passenger on some public transport, in the middle of a conversation, in the middle of the busyness of living your lives, you will always breathe. So you notice now how you breathe. You bring your attention to it and you anchor in that comfortable, relaxing breath. Whether you make a fist, whether you hold your own hand, or whether it's just the breath itself, breathing in deeply 3 times, even with your eyes wide open, will bring you to a relaxed state of being. Whether you remember being on a beautiful tropical beach somewhere or in the safety and privacy of your own bed, you know how to change your state. And now you know how to utilize the anchor of your own breath. All you have to do is breathe. Bring your attention to it by that anchor. Feel comfort and ease, and allow yourself to feel the pleasure of being in this physical form, completely supported by the environment around you. Whether you are standing up on a secure floor and ground that your feet are firmly planted on, whether you're sat down and allow yourself to just drift down into the support of the security of the chair that you're in, or lying down, reclining in some wonderful, comfortable pose. You know how to make yourself feel better. You know that there is something that you can do to change the quality of your breath and to utilize it when you might need it the most. Anchor it now. Do something physical. Hold your own hand. Make a fist. Even just press your thumb and forefinger together. Maybe do something that you know when you do that again, it's going to bring you a sense of comfort and ease. Do what you do that can so easily be repeated when you are in the busyness of living your life, when you need it most. Why not add a bit of confidence in there too? A bit of confidence, a bit of ease, a bit of comfort, a bit of pleasure. And now you can think and compare, as we do all the time as human beings, whether this feels better to keep spinning that feeling and feeling that support and comfort and ease and flow through you, or whether a grainy, salty, sugary biscuit or cracker is going to give you that feeling. And if it does, maybe one biscuit or one cracker can return you to this state. Because when you feel good, that's all you need. In a moment, you'll open your eyes if your eyes are closed. In a moment, you'll open your eyes and you will rejoin me to talk about how good you can feel and how you can change your own state by an anchor. How about that, Claire? Did I go on a bit? I think I went on a bit there. There we
Wow,
go.
that was just really good. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I feel so relaxed. I think I was so bumped up, when we started, because we've been talking about doing this for quite a few weeks now. So I was so excited. I just feel really chilled now.
Well,
I think we're going to have to turn it off now.
There's anchors to calm you down. There's anchors to raise
Rise
you
you
up.
up. Yeah,
It
oh,
depends what you need at the time. But I think we've kind of talked about this, Claire, and we've thought that the best thing that we can do, the best anchor we could give people at the moment is that kind of relaxed anchor, that comfort, that surety. So we don't need to keep reaching out and picking at things that hopefully will bring us that when we've already got it in the breath. Mm.
And is that, it's really that, it's so in depth when you're in that moment, isn't it? And it just feels so good in that moment. It's quite unbelievable that you can recreate that by just touching your thumb. I was just touching my thumb there. And that breathing as well, it just makes it's so powerful, isn't it? Just a little thing can actually bring that feeling back into the conscious mind.
We do berate ourselves, don't we, for reaching out for biscuits and crackers and things. So it may be, I want you to contemplate this, it may be a way of forcing us to return to the present moment, to remembering we have a body to take care of, to have a quick fix of sugar or salt. What's the harm in that? Though it's excess that we're concerned about. Having something quick and easy to enable us to change our state, because we don't kind of believe we can do it for ourselves. We kind of give our power away to a cigarette or a biscuit or something. But when we can reconnect with how we can do it for ourselves, it takes a moment. It really does take a moment to bring our power back to ourselves, to realise we can do this, rather than searching on the outside for something or allowing ourselves to be adversely affected by our environment. We can use the environment of our own body, our very breath, to bring us that which we are reaching out for from the environment.
Well, this was amazing, Jenny. I think we're going to have to stop because I know we could be talking all day, and we are going to be back tomorrow. I think we need to let people go to bed.
Tell them about the download. Tell them about the download.
Oh, yes,
the free
yes. Sorry. There's a download. Jenny and I were putting something together. So on the link that's just below the video, Jenny has she's created an anchoring for happiness. So if you go and follow the link, and then you'll be able to download that and just do it by yourself, recreate it, take your time in doing it, and and learn how to do it yourself. Because once you've done it by yourself, you can do it for any other things as well, which is what is really, really powerful about it. So It's just amazing that you've all joined us today, and those who are watching us afterwards. It's an amazing, it's great to have that community and that support around, isn't it, Jenny?
Absolutely. And I'd like to have a bit of feedback from people as well, because we're going to be doing this at 3:00 every day, aren't we? It'd be nice to know that this anchoring has worked for you, or that you recognise your own positive and negative anchors, and how you can have impact upon them, how you can utilise them to enhance your well-being. We all need a bit of that, don't we? A bit of enhancement.
Totally. And something else I've just thought as well, Jenny. I mean, we already in our mind, we have a plan for what we're going to be talking about this week. But I mean, if you guys want to know more about a particular subject, also just, pin Jenny or I myself a message on, Messenger or Facebook or YouTube or whatever. And then, we'll change the subject, and then we can look at the subject that you've been asking about, which would be quite cool, just to be able to engage a bit more with you guys, and where we can help you, really.
Absolutely. That's the whole reason for us doing this. We want to engage more with people. We want to be helpful. We can talk for England and Jersey, can't we, Claire? We can just go on and on and on. And we have done. Now it's time to engage with people and to be useful to you. Take advantage of us being here.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 3:00, same Facebook Live, and it'll be on YouTube as well. We're going to upload them on there if you want to watch the replay, and download the happiness anchoring. That would be amazing. All right, bye, everybody. Bye, Jenny.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
You.
Bye.
Bye.